morning. Wow, I haven't done a live video. It says it's starting, so it says now I'm live. Where am I? What a good question, right? Where am I? I haven't done a Facebook Live in some time, so hair is still messy from the night. It's Honeybee Henderson, and hi. I am just reflecting on this post that I reposted from Nas Daily this morning, and the generational trauma that is embedded in the DNA, in all of our DNA. We all have generational trauma embedded in our DNA. We are the egg. As a woman, we are the egg inside the fetus, inside our grandmother's womb. As a woman, we are the egg inside of the fetus of our grandmother's womb. It doesn't take too many pieces of the puzzle to put together that generational trauma is real, and it's passed down. And it's passed down until we heal it. And it's passed down through the DNA, and it's passed down through the nervous system. And it's passed down spiritually. It's passed down on all levels. And it's our work to heal ourselves if we choose. If we choose not to carry that on to our children, to our beloved children. It is our divine birthright to invite in liberation into ourselves, into our cells of our bodies, so that we do not pass on these traumas to the next generation. It is our birthright to be liberated. It is our birthright to be free. And no one around us can do that for us. It is an inside job, just as peace is an inside job, just as peace inside the Middle East is an inside job. This topic of the Middle East and peace between Palestine and Israel is so strong in my heart. I spent 7 years living in Jordan, working with Palestinians, traveling to Israel. And I know very little of the story, and am reminded of it often when I'm there. I am reminded often that I will never understand the pain and the suffering that the Palestinians have and the Israelis have. And I don't disagree. It's not my trauma. But I do know that trauma is real, and it is passed down generationally, and the insidiousness of this fighting for peace, which Gandhi was not a fan of. Fighting for peace is like creating another war. There is no peace inside of war. There is no peace inside of fighting. There is no peace to be found. And whether you're removed from the Middle East or you're living inside of it, this impacts you. This trauma that we are living inside of impacts all of us. So Nas Daily posted a post this morning about the peace in Middle East, and he's got a very interesting perspective. He's Palestinian, born inside the Israeli government. And again, whether you are connected to that or whether that is just something that is so far out of your reality, it matters to you. Because the way that we come to peace is by forgiveness within. Forgiving ourselves for holding the judgments. Forgiving ourselves by holding the judgments that someone else has wronged us, or wronged our family, or wronged our country, or wronged the planet. there are many, many people who are doing really wild things that aren't in alignment with peace. And they may even be screaming for peace as they shoot the rocket. It's such a mirror for us to look at what is going on within ourselves, what is going on within me. I grew up in a perfectly fine household with a Lebanese background, so my prayer for this region is strong, because the pain that these people have gone through is still in my DNA, even though it's different. My trauma that I'm working with is, I lived next door. I was thinking about this a minute ago. I lived next door to the boy who raped me as a child. At 3 years old, this 13-year-old boy came over to babysit. And this 3-year-old little body, who is so precious, was violated. And what that did to my nervous system is unconscionable. Wires got crossed, and I felt the need to always protect myself. And that shows up in different ways and through different relationships. And the tears are because I understand now at a deeper level why this matters. I'm 46 years old, and I'm finally uncrossing the crisscross of my nervous system. 43 years of a little girl who lives inside of me, who was afraid of being hurt because the neighbor next door was the enemy. Now, globally, I look at that today and I think about all these Palestinians living in fear. And oh my God, I can't imagine the Lebanese living in fear that the quote unquote enemy is going to attack. And this is not against the Israeli people, because I have many, many, many beautiful brothers and sisters that are on all the sides. Israeli, Palestinian, Jordanian, Lebanese, I see them all the same. And I even know many, 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 many conscious people who live inside the region and who live outside the region and who are holding steadfast to this isn't fair. And it's not fair. War is never fair. War is never fair. It's never fair to put a little girl living next door to her violator or living inside the home of her violator. That is never fair. But there is learning for us. There is learning for all of us. Yeah, get out of the region. Yes, that's one way to start the healing. But many people are not able. Many people are stuck, especially these Palestinians. They have no papers, they have no home, they have no way out, they have no way in, they have no money. It's not fair. And for that, my heart cannot understand. But I can understand that the nervous systems are super crisscrossed. They've been living in fear for generations. I have been living in fear in my own body for my entire life. And I'm not comparing what I went through to what happens daily, or living in a war-torn country, or living in a place where you're afraid when your father, or if your father is going to come home. I can't even compare that. But I do know that these conversations need to happen. And today, within minutes of posting this Nas Daily video, which I'll post down below, I had conversations with an Israeli, with a Lebanese, and with a Palestinian friend. And they're all holding, it breaks my heart, because they're all super evolved people, and they're all holding the pain and this intergenerational trauma. And it's not fair. It's not. It's not fair that this little girl was raped at 3 years old. It's not fair. And it's mine to heal. This little girl, look how cute she is. She's my responsibility. Just as it is their responsibility to heal, so that they don't pass on this generational trauma. So that this virus of hate can be lifted. We all are fighting a war inside of ourselves. We're all fighting a war. And the nervous system is impacted, and then I was gifted 7 years working in that region. And my God, it is not easy work. Because you cannot come in with high perspective to a little child who has been raped to say that, well, don't you see that you can get over that? You can't come into that same high perspective and say peace is possible and love is possible. Can't you work on yourself? But little by little, with videos like this that Nas Daily posted, little by little, we chip away. And my God, peace is possible. What is going on in Iran under the Islamic regime is not fair. These extremists on all parts of the world are trying to get us to continue to buy into their rhetoric and their bullshit. And it's bullshit. It's not truth. It's fear, it's tactical, it's insidious, it is beyond unfair. And in the face of unfairness, we have to face ourselves. And as hard as this work is to come into forgiveness, that is where peace rests. That is where peace lives, within you. And my God, I have been energetically stoned trying to support Palestinians many times because I came in with too high of perspective. This perspective. And it's not popular when you're holding on so strong into this isn't fair and this is not peaceful and this is not, it's not. Anyway, I guess I'm all jazzed up this morning. I'm just passionate about liberation for each of us, for especially the ones that I love. I'll never understand what it's like to live next door to the enemy on that level. On that level. But I do understand on a super small scale what it is like to be living in fear. That who's going to take care of me and who's going to protect me? And if it's not going to be my mom and dad, then who is it going to be? Then I need to fight the fight. That causes havoc in the system, in the body. There's a lot of people doing good work over there. A lot of people. We were hosting many, many, many beautiful conversations of forgiveness. Between sides, how do we come to peace? Most, if not all of my friends in the region really want to have that. They just don't have a pathway to it. And I don't have the answer. All I can say is do your work. Do your own work to liberate yourself. Do your work. You are worth being free. That is your birthright. Being free is your birthright. Whew. So, thanks for joining me for 15 minutes this morning, Tuesday, October the 4th. Thank you for joining me. in prayer, that divine mother wraps a blanket around these hearts that are hurting. That divine mother wraps a blanket around your heart that is hurting for whatever it is that you're in struggle with. That divine mother wraps her loving blanket around me and my struggles. It's not a popular perspective. But one day, may the world know peace. It takes one of us healing ourselves to move forward. So please be courageous and look within and see where you're holding and see where you can let go. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you.